Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining this first module hosted by Side by Side, How to Become a Referee. This is a series of videos that is presented by Domestic Referee Development. I'm your first instructor, Alex Joyella, so let's get to it.
Hello, everybody from all over the world on Side by Side. Today is our first referee session number one. We have here my friend and the referee instructor number one for the sessions. It's Alex Joyola, and she is a national referee at the US Fencing for 7 years. She's been international referee for 2 years and a Paralympic or a wheelchair referee for 3 years. So, hello.
Hey.
Hey, Alex. And hello, everybody here with us. We've got very famous names and faces with us in Zoom, and looking forward for everybody sharing on Facebook as well.
So, hey, everyone. As Ali mentioned, my name is Alex Joyella. I'm a national, semi-international, and wheelchair referee for US Fencing. Just going to kind of go through the steps to becoming a referee, what that means, the types of referees, the types of memberships you need to have, how to progress, and kind of what all of the things that are circling around about being a referee really mean in context. So let's just get started. First thing, why do people become referees? There are tons of reasons people become a referee. For me, I was competing. I had a lot of fun doing it, but I was young. I was in college. I bought a motorcycle. I crashed it. And I injured my back, and my competitive career was therefore over. But I wanted to stay involved in the sport because I love it. And so I became a referee, and I thoroughly enjoy it. Some of the people you are going to interact with that you probably have interacted with, people I can actually see on this call right now, Patrick Webster, Bruce Gilman were some of the people who helped me when I started refereeing. So I had a really good foundation for people helping me. But there are tons of other reasons to do it. You want to help your fencing. People become referees all the time to help their fencing, to see things differently, to understand what the referees are calling, and to understand what a bout looks like side to side versus dead on. So there's that. There's wanting to just help with local tournaments in your area because there aren't a lot of referees. So if you're in the Midwest, like I am, or you're in the Southwest, or you're just in an area where there's not a lot of referees and you want to help out, that's another good reason to become a referee. For anybody who wants to be a referee, just make sure that you're doing it for the right reason. Don't do it because you're just out to make money. Don't do it because you want to lord it over people at your club. Don't do it for ego. Make sure that any time you become a referee, or just when you do anything in life generally, it's for the right reasons. If you go out to be a referee with any motivation that's not positive, you may be severely disappointed. So just make sure you're doing it for the right reasons. So big thing when you're a referee is, what kind of referee do you want to be? Do you want to be a local referee? Do you want to be a regional referee? Do you want to be a national referee? Do you want to be an international referee? Do you just want to do high school? Do you just want to do some college stuff or college club team stuff? There's tons of different ways to be a referee, so you have to figure out what that means. So there are the US Fencing membership required referees. Those are your local, regional, national, international referees. These are sanctioned events. Anything that's a sanctioned event by US Fencing, you must have a US Fencing membership. And if you are an adult, if you're 18 or over, you must have a background check and you must complete your safe sport training. Non-negotiable, it's a non-starter if you don't. And it's really important because if a referee who doesn't have a valid membership shows up to an event and refs it, you can invalidate a tournament that way. Please don't be that person. It has happened. Please don't be that person. For high school events, for NCAA, for college club team, US Fencing membership is actually not required. Some of the high school leagues may require it, so check where you are. In New York, the New York private school league does require that you are a US fencing member referee. So just check where you are. For the most part, you don't need to be a US fencing member for that, but in some places you do. So just make sure you know what the requirements are for that. So building a foundation in fencing and becoming a referee. First things first, you're not taking the seminar or the test. You're actually reffing at the club. So you need to make sure that you're at your local club, or if you're a college student at practice, you're standing up, you're saying, hey guys, can I ref this bout? And you're learning what that feels like and you're getting the experience. What does standing in front of my peers and making these calls feel like? And it's okay to be nervous, but you got to build a foundation somewhere. And that's really how you learn. It's how you learn to see it side by side. It's how you learn the rules. It's how you learn to deal with being questioned and maybe even potentially with people arguing with you. This is just, it's part of the experience, but it's part of building that foundation for being a referee. So go to the club, stand up, referee, and learn. And definitely, if your coach is there, ask them questions. My favorite thing to do, and some of the clubs that have this, is if there's a mirror on the wall and you can ref in front of the mirror, check your hand signals. See if they look like what most of us are trying to do when we're out reffing. But check your hand signals. See if they look good. And if not, that's a great opportunity to start fixing them as well. So take every opportunity you have at the club, rules, just building your general foundation, but definitely get up there, make the calls, learn what it feels like, and build your foundation. So then you've built your foundation, you feel comfortable, you feel good, you're ready, you take your seminar. So you can find the seminars online on Ask Fred. You can find them associated with some of the regional events, SYCs, ROCs, RJCCs, things like that. So go find one. There's also a list of certified referee instructors, CRIs, that give the seminar. If you don't see one that's available at a time that works for you, contact a CRI that's in your area and see if they plan on giving one in the near future. Oftentimes, they may be thinking about giving one, but they haven't set a date. You know, you might give them the push to do it, but there's a list of CRIs on the US Fencing website. You can reach out, you can ask, hey, I'd love to take a seminar, but there isn't one that's offered for me right now. Do you plan on giving one in the future? Most times, even if that person isn't planning on giving the seminar soon, they know one that's going to be offered soon. And right now, most of the seminars, actually currently all of them, but moving forward, many of them will still be online. So there's flexibility there. So definitely reach out and you may be able to find a seminar that works.
That we're working with together, me and you, Alex, trying to, and the committee, of course, trying to bring it all online and bringing more instructors to present to the rest of our nation, of course.
All right, so you have found a seminar, you have taken your seminar, you have absorbed all of this information, this 6 to 9 hours of information that's being handed to you. So the next thing you do is you take the test, and the test is online. It's if you go to the US Fencing website, you will find it. There's a study guide offered as well. I highly suggest taking a look at the study guide. It's got sample questions on it with some explanations. It will really, really, really help you. Now, some people take the test before they take the seminar. That's fine. I have found that there's really valuable information offered in the seminar that will help you with the test. So my suggestion would be take the seminar and then take the test, and you may find it a slightly easier path, and you'll find that some of it just makes more sense if you do it in that order. But you can take them the opposite way. But my strong suggestion is seminar, test. Okay, so You've taken your seminar, you've absorbed all the knowledge, you've now gone online and you've taken this test, which actually, let me add, when you pay for the test, when you go online, you pay for the test, you have 48 hours to complete it, which means the general and you have to complete the general and one weapon. My suggestion is in that 48 hours, see if you can pass all of them. You'll learn all 3 weapons in the seminar anyway, so see if you can pass all of them. If not, it's okay. But to become an active referee, to take a practical, you do need to pass the general and 1 weapon. And you have 48 hours to do that. So use your time wisely. Okay, so you've taken your seminar, you've taken your test. Now, practical exam. So this is what's offered at events. So this is when you show up to your first event, you're a brand new, shiny referee, and you're gonna ref your first event. And it's very exciting and it's very nerve-wracking. And there's anxiety and there's excitement and it's mildly overwhelming and it's all of these things. No worries. So you will find either certified referee instructors, CRIs, or certified referee observers, CROs, at the event. Big thing to do though is once you're hired for an event, if you're taking your practical, not with the CRI who gave you your seminar, if it's an outside person. So say you took your seminar with me or Bruce Gilman, and your first event is going to be with Lisa Sapery. Make sure Lisa knows a couple days before, so check in and say, hey, just reminding you, I'm coming to be observed. That way referee resources are being allocated to you so they're not short on referees. So you wanna make sure that when you walk in, they know that you're being observed. That way, A, you have an observer so you can get the feedback you're looking for and actually complete your practical, but B, you're not necessarily put in a situation you weren't ready for. So just make sure you let them know that that's what's gonna happen. Cool, all right. So there's different expectations, what you can expect from your observer. They're gonna come out with a clipboard and a pen or a pencil, and they're gonna be taking notes. Don't let that freak you out. They're just taking notes because they're not gonna talk to you after every touch. They're not going to confirm or criticize every move you make. They're gonna write down some general feedback, a couple things they wanna talk to you about. They may talk, if you're doing a pool with them, they may talk to you at the end of a bout. They may wait until the end of the pool, but they will be taking notes. Don't worry, and don't think that the more they're writing, the worse you're doing. I like to, everything I wanna kind of talk to you about and tweak, I try to write down, for every 2 things I wanna tweak, I try to write down 1 thing that I think you're doing really, really well. So don't worry. Some of us write in longhand, some of us write in shorthand. Don't worry if there's a lot of writing, it's okay. The other things you can expect from your observer, if the water gets a little too hot, you're having a rough time, they will help you. They may take over for you to give you a break for a little while. If a coach is being particularly obnoxious, they may speak to that coach for you. And they may offer you some insight if you're misapplying a rule or there's a question. So they're there to offer you feedback, but they're also there to help you. They're not there to referee for you. They're not there to overturn your calls because no one can do that. But they are there to offer guidance. If you have a question, ask your observer, but don't turn around after every action looking for help on the calls. We don't do that. So just go out there and know that you've got backup, but that the expectation that we have of you is that you're gonna go out there and do your best. You're gonna show us what you've got, and we're gonna give you the feedback that you're looking for. So next thing, you. So when you show up to your event, make sure you know what time to be there. Don't be late. Don't be the referee that shows up late, especially if you're asking for an observation. So check with your head referee, ask them, hey, I'm being observed in foil. I see there's a foil event starting at 8 o'clock. Which time should I be there? They'll more than likely tell you 7:30 or 7:45. Try to be there half an hour early, but at the bare minimum, 15 minutes. Most referee meetings happen 15 minutes before the event starts. If you're being observed in, let's say, Sabre, and it starts at 10 a.m., they may tell you to be there at 8 a.m. anyway. So make sure you ask what time you need to be there and where you're supposed to be. It's really, really, really important that you're where you're supposed to be, when you're supposed to be there. I cannot stress that enough. Also, dress code. Even for local events, I prefer a suit. There are more casual events. If you're in the Northeast, there's the Pomme de Terre, where you will see referees out there in flip-flops and shorts. It's one of my favorite events. But most times you will see referees wearing women a blouse or skirt and pants or whatever, but definitely more business attire. Check with your head referee, ask them what's the dress code. Sometimes they may tell you for men, slacks and a polo. Sometimes they may tell you a tie, but make sure you know what the attire is. If you're not sure, err on the side of more business than more casual. It will spare you in the long run. I am a stickler for the dress code. If you're not dressed appropriately, I have been known to send people home. So please, 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 please dress the part. If you want to be taken seriously as a referee, you need to take yourself seriously as a referee, which means dressing the part. Even right now, I'm in a suit. So please dress the part. So next thing, cards. I used to have several spare sets of cards. There are newbie referees all over the country now running around with my cards. So I don't have any more. And a lot of senior referees don't carry spares anymore, specifically for that reason. So get your own cards. There are places online. You can get them from Leon Paul, I believe Absolute, and a few other places. You can grab cards. You can get soccer penalty cards. You go to Home Depot and get paint swatches, like the paint squares from Home Depot. You can use those too. It works. This is a referee tool. If you're going out to be a referee, this is one of the tools you need. Please have it with you.
That's very creative, Alex. And also I want to remind everybody that Absolute is one of our strategic partners, and they have special discounts for all the side-by-siders, so that when they mention our names, we got discount.
All right, so I'm gonna throw out there, go to Absolute, get your penalty card.
There you go.
You will find that at some events, they'll give you cards, but do not go to an event expecting there to be penalty cards for you or that people have spares, because for the most part now, senior referees don't have them because we've lent them out and we just don't have them anymore. So please make sure to have your own. The other thing you will want to have is, I am sure most, if not everybody, but I'm not assuming everybody, has a smartphone. So put on your smartphone a fencing referee app. They have them for Android, they have them for iPhone. Make sure you grab one that has a timer on it. Keep score and keeps time. You want both of those things. There are some most are free. There are a few that are paid where you can do an entire pool sheet on your phone. I don't think there's much need for that, but if you're feeling very committed to the cause, please feel free. I think it's like $2. But there are free ones. Add it to your phone, because having a stopwatch or something to keep time is really, really helpful. But being able to have it in the app where you can keep the time, you can record penalties, and you can record the score, very, very helpful. So just make sure you have all of those things. And I know I've just thrown a lot of information at you in the course of 19 minutes. And so take 10 seconds, take a deep breath, because we're gonna keep moving. And we're gonna go into, just now that you've done all of these things, kind of the more real world refereeing. So take a breath, grab some water, because I'm going to, and then we will continue momentarily. All right, so being a referee, what does that mean? It means tons of things, in all honesty. The follow-up to this is going to be the role of the referee, but right now, what does it mean for a new referee to be a referee? Be yourself. So one of my favorite things to hear when there's new referees or there's athletes, and when I ref, I want to be like you. No, be like you. I'm very comfortable being me, and you need to be comfortable being you. You need to find what your rhythm is, how you want to interact with coaches, how you want to interact with athletes, and how you want to interact with spectators. But most importantly, how you want to interact with your colleagues. Fencing referees are like a family. We argue, we bicker, we get irritated with each other, but we're a family and we back each other up and we're there for each other, whether at tournaments or, just in the real world. We are a family. So it's important that if you're going to be a part of that family, whether it's just locally, regionally, or nationally, that you interact in a positive way and that you're interacting genuinely, that you're interacting as you. It will make your referee experience so much better. And you will find that we all have our quirks. We all have, our idiosyncrasies. And it's an accepting crew, but just, be yourself on the strip and off. Be open to making mistakes. None of us are perfect. No matter how good you may think a referee is, I promise you they didn't start out that good. We all learned, we all got better, we all took feedback, we all were willing to trudge through our mistakes and we were willing to own them. So be open to making mistakes. We're all human. Even at the World Cup level, there are mistakes that are made or there are calls that people disagree with. It happens. It's going to happen locally. It's going to happen at the Olympics. It is what it is. But be open to being wrong. That being said, just because someone disagrees with you does not mean that you're wrong. It means that someone disagrees with you. So you'll get a better feel for the difference is in that. But especially if a senior referee says, hey, I think we should talk about this touch, be open to that and be open to the fact that maybe there's something you can learn. Don't take critical feedback personally. If someone is offering you advice, especially an observer or your weapon assigner is offering you advice and it's not what you want to hear, they're not giving it to you because it's personal. It's not a personal attack on you. They're trying to help you. Let them help you. Sometimes taking feedback stings, especially if it's critical feedback, but try to remember it is constructive feedback. They're offering you this feedback to help. So take it and take it in the spirit in which it's given. It's really, really important. I know when I started out as a referee, I didn't have a good reputation for taking feedback. I've gotten significantly better and it's helped me immensely. But it was a learning curve for me taking feedback. You really do have to take the feedback and run with it, because I promise you, when people give you good constructive feedback and you run with it, you get so much better, so much faster. So definitely be open to taking the feedback and don't take it personally. Whether it's at the club or at a tournament, don't take someone questioning a call as them either assuming you're wrong or as a personal attack. Sometimes fencers will say, what, why? Sometimes they really mean why, because they don't understand, but because they're hyped up in the energy of the bout, it comes off a little bit more aggressively. Don't assume a question is a personal attack or that it's them saying you're wrong. If you can give an explanation, go for it. Don't get defensive. Don't start lecturing. Don't do any of those things. And it's so easy as a new referee to get defensive. I know I would get defensive as a young referee. So many of my mistakes as a new referee, I'm trying to help you avoid. So don't get defensive. Just say, this is why. If they want to start to argue, don't engage the argument, but be willing to answer the question. It's really, really important. And it will help them calm down as well. If they ask a question and you give them an answer, whether or not they like the answer, it does help them to calm down and it keeps the flow of the bout going. So just keep that just keep that in mind. All right. So you've gone to you've refed at the club, you've taken the seminar, you've taken the test, you've done your practical, you showed up with your cards and your cell phone and your freshly pressed suit, and you've gotten your first, you've passed. Your observer says you did a fantastic job. I'm gonna send your ratings out to Bruce Gilman and Patrick Webster, and we're gonna get this going for you. And you're like, yeah, now what? Okay, so a couple of things. One, find out who the hiring referees in your area are. So if you're at an event, you can ask the head referee there, say, hey, who are some of the hiring referees? I want to get on the hire list. And they'll tell you, if you're in the Northeast, hey, it's Lisa Sapri, it's Abdelaziz, it's Bruce Gilman, it's Charles Green, it's whoever's out there, right? So, hey, Bruce. So you can find out who's there, and you can send them an email and say, hey, I'd really like to ref more. I just passed my practical. Do you have any events coming up? And they'll let you know if they have space for you or not. Sometimes they will, sometimes they won't. Don't take it personally if they don't have a spot for you, because hiring for events, people tend to do it fairly early. So if they don't have a spot for you, it's not personal. They just really may not have a spot for you, and they'll say, hey, we'll keep you in mind if somebody bails or the event gets bigger. But reach out to these people, be proactive. So this is for you. This is making progress. You're still gonna ref at the club. You are gonna find events to go to. Woohoo, yes, making progress. So you're still gonna ref at the club. You are gonna find events to go to. You're going to interact in online discussions that are happening, and online discussions are happening more and more. You are going to find seminars that are offered online that are weapon specific. You're going to happen to be at a NAC and see one of the early morning 7:30 meetings that they have to talk about something specific. Go to those. So make sure that you are proactively seeking out opportunities to get better. It may seem daunting at first, getting on people's radar and getting on the list. It's a little difficult in the beginning, but promise you, if you want to be a referee, it's well worth it, and people will give you an opportunity and they will help you. Most of the people who hire are CRIs or CROs themselves, so they actually have the ability to offer you feedback or to connect you with someone at the tournament who can. So please, 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 please be proactive. So things to, hi Patrick, things to avoid. First things first, with things to avoid. Don't be late. Just don't be late. Show up with a decent attitude. If you have a bad attitude when you show up, it's evident really, really, really fast to everyone, to your fellow referees, to the athletes. You will create an air of discomfort around you. If you're constantly late, people will stop hiring you. Try not to bail at the last minute unless it's an absolute emergency. Bailing on hiring referees will get you taken off their lists pretty quickly. For me, you could bail on me twice before I would take you off my list. So only bail if it's an absolute emergency, and emergencies do happen. But if something comes up, do let your hiring referee know so they can reach out to somebody else. Do not sit on another referee's strip and offer commentary on their reffing, specifically on calls that you may not like. That is a quick way to find yourself unhireable, or just with your fellow referees not talking to you. So make sure that you are not offering commentary on what they're doing. Do not see a friend on strip and start coaching them. And there's a call you don't like, and you start telling the referee the call is wrong. That's not your place, especially if you're at the event as an official. You do not coach. at an event if you were there as an official. It's really, really important. Just don't do it. It's a bad look, but it's also against the referee's code of ethics. Do not do it. Do not offer commentary about fellow referees and their reffing online on any form of social media. Don't do it. There are Facebook pages and sites that give you the opportunity to discuss calls, and discussing a call, what you would call, what you wouldn't call, why you call something a certain way, that's okay. But saying, well, the referee was wrong and this is why, don't do that. It's not cool, and you certainly wouldn't want it done to you. So please, 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 please don't do it to others. Like I said, we're a family and we back each other up. Just don't do it. All right. Staying up to date. So this may seem like a no-brainer, but considering all the remarkable rules changes recently, it's not quite as easy as you might think. So there is a rules blog offered by, or maintained, by Devin Donnelly on US Fencing's website. And when there's any rules changes or potentially just interpretation changes, he will write a blog post about it and post it. Check out at the beginning of every season, the new rule book. There's minor changes. Just check, make sure you're up to date. Also, when you go to a tournament, please, 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 first thing you should do, walk up to your head referee and say, hey, any rules changes? Is there anything I need to know? If there is, they'll tell you. If there's not, no worries. But most often they'll offer this information in the referee meeting. If they don't, there may not be, but you can always check and say, hey, is there anything I need to know? It's a good habit to create for yourself, just asking if there's any rules changes. It's really, really important. Understand that there's an up-to-date rule book every season. There may be minor changes. There may be major changes, but keep an eye on the rule book and keep an eye on the rules blog. And I promise you it will definitely come in handy. Also, a great way to stay up to date on the rules or anything that's going on. Stay involved in conversations that are happening, whether it's online or just, other referees you're talking to generally. Because I know not everybody's on Facebook all the time, and that's totally fine. Just stay as involved as you possibly can, and you'll make sure that you're keeping up to date. Okay, so one of my, and I know I'm doing this kind of fast and it's a lot of information, but I promise I will answer questions if there are any. Parafencing, so wheelchair fencing. So wheelchair fencing is near and dear to my heart. I absolutely love the wheelies. So they call themselves wheelies and they call us ABs, which are able-bodied. And they are a blast. There's not nearly as many parafencers as able-bodied fencers, and they're a tight community and they're amazing. And to become a parafencing referee, you need to have a 5 and 2 weapons. And you need to take a parafencing specific test. So that's online, where the online able-bodied test is. You will want to be refereeing a few seasons nationally before you take that test and before you try to do parafencing. But if you do want to do it, I promise you, it's well worth it. The group is amazing, but it is a different skill set. We don't move with the athletes. We sit in one place. The hand signals are a little bit different. So it is a different skill set. So having a solid grounding in able-bodied first is absolutely key to moving on to parafencing. I can answer some questions about parafencing, but if you really want to learn more, I would suggest reaching out to John Moss, Leo Curtis, Sean Shoemate. You can find them all on Facebook and all pretty active on Facebook as well. So just friend them and you can ask them any questions you might have. They're all three of them are wonderful people. Feel free to reach out to them. Okay. So I just mentioned something about having a 5 and 2 weapons. What does that mean? Well, those are ratings. And that's always the big question, is referee ratings. So Our rating system, when you pass your seminar and your test, you get a P, which is not really a rating. It just means that you've passed those two things and you're ready to take your practical. Woohoo! So our rating system currently is 10 to 1, one being the highest. So when you take your first practical, usually you end up with a rating of 7 to 10. If it's a high enough rated event, such as Div 1 Sabre in a rock in New York or New Jersey, it may be at a difficulty where you could get a 6, but probably not. So assume from your first practical you're going to get something between a 10 and a 7. CRIs, so the people that give the seminars, can give up to a 5 at an appropriately rated tournament. CROs can give up to a 6 at an appropriately rated tournament. You don't argue for ratings. If someone's giving you an observation and you were really hoping for a 7, they give you an 8, ask them why and what you can do better. Arguing for a rating is not going to get you a better one. Understanding why they don't feel that that's your current level is a better way to go. If it's a 2-day tournament, it's very possible that you are rated an 8 one day, you take that feedback to heart, you use it the next day, and they give you a 7. It's very, very possible, but don't argue for ratings. I've seen way too many people do it. Just don't do it. When you get to a 5, so 5s are most often given at NACS. But so when you get to a 5, anything above a 5 has to be done by a vote of the RC. So don't beg your CRI for 4 and anything. They cannot do it. So 4s or above are people who are actively and consistently refereeing nationally. So if you would like to have a 4 and you would like to referee internationally, then you're going to have to show up to NACS for that. Okay, so this is my least favorite part, which is membership types. So US Fencing has several different membership types, and it's gotten more complicated since I started. But if you are a minor, which means you are under the age of 18, you can referee. You just have to have an actual active US Fencing membership. If you are 18 or over, you need to have a membership that allows you to add plus check ed, which is our safe sport training and our background check. This becomes necessary the day you turn 18. No negotiation, you must do it. So, and I mentioned before, if you show up and you are of age and you haven't done this, you can invalidate the results of a tournament. Please, 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 please be careful. So make sure you have the correct membership type. Most times the hiring referee will check. I do it. I check birthdays. I see when you're turning 18 and I'll say, hey, you turn 18 the day before the tournament. So the day before the tournament, you need to initiate your background check and you need to do the safe sport training. If your background check is initiated but hasn't completed, you can still referee. That's okay, but the safe sport training must be completed before you referee. An initiated background check is okay to referee with. Safe sport training must be completed before you referee if you are 18 or over. You have to be careful with this. So one thing I forgot to touch on, and I apologize, is there are different types of seminars offered for referees, online, weapon-specific, just general skills, things like that. You want to make sure that you're taking the certified referee seminar that's meant as a requirement to become a referee. You don't want to take a seminar thinking that it meets that requirement and it doesn't. In the seminar description, it will tell you that this meets the requirements to becoming a referee. So please make sure you check. If you're not sure, email the organizer. If you're still not sure, email referee development. We can tell you if it is or it isn't. But please make sure you're taking the correct seminar. It would be unfortunate to spend the time or the money to take a seminar that doesn't actually help you meet the requirement. So please make sure you're checking that as well. I've seen it happen a few times already. It's nothing malicious, it's just people offer different types of seminars online. So just make sure that you are, in fact, taking the right one. Okay, so recap. We've actually gotten through a lot of information. So quick recap. Why to be a referee? Because you want to be, and you've got positive motivation for it. If you've got positive motivation for it, and it's something you're looking forward to doing, go for it. I highly encourage it. I enjoy being a referee. I enjoy the people I meet. I enjoy the different interactions that I have. For me, it's a lot of fun. So if you've got a positive motivation for it, go for it. Build your foundation reffing at your club. It's the best place to start. I cannot offer any other advice other than ref at the club, or if you're in college, ref at your practice. Super, super important, and it will build you the best starting foundation for refereeing. Your requirements: seminar, test, practical. Adequately prepare for each. Know that the seminar is going to be about 8 hours, so bring water. If there's no big break for lunch, or there's no places nearby to get lunch, bring lunch. Test. Look at the study guide. Know that it's 48 hours. That's your time limit, or you're paying for it again. Practical. Dress the part. Bring the appropriate tools. Be on time. These are all really important. Also note that between taking your between taking your seminar and your test, in theory, you have a year to take your practical. So try to make sure you juggle that time well. In the age of COVID, that's probably going to be very, very flexible, but keep that in mind, especially since rules change. Be yourself. Be open to making mistakes. Be open to feedback. Don't take things personally. It's really important to just be comfortable and to remember that everybody else that's around that bout has an emotional stake in it except for you. So you don't need to be emotional about it. If someone's yelling, they're yelling. If someone's getting upset, they're getting upset. You can help them try to calm down, but don't take anything personally. The coach, the athlete, the parent, they have an emotional stake. You don't. Make sure you're going out, if you're trying to make progress, make sure you're going out to tournaments. Make sure you're taking these opportunities to learn, being engaged in conversation, finding tournaments to go to, still reffing at the club. Take every opportunity you have to just make progress. Avoid making commentary on another referee's calls. Don't disparage another referee openly. Don't coach while you're refereeing. Don't disparage another referee on the line. Just be careful. It's super easy to get caught up in it. Just don't do it. Please be aware of what you're doing. Stay up to date. Keep a steady eye on the rule book. Make sure you ask your head referee, hey, are there any new things going on that I need to know that impact this tournament today? Make sure you know what's going on so you can referee to the best of your ability. Wheelchair fencing, it's fun. You should totally check it out at ANAC when there's wheelchair fencing going on. They are an amazing crew, and you should definitely just generally learn more about it. Like I said, Leo Curtis, Sean Shumate, John Moss, all wonderful human beings. Reach out to them. They can give you some amazing information. And they're doing a fundraiser right now. So if you go on Leo Curtis's Facebook page, we'll find a fundraiser that they're doing. Ratings. Ratings are given by CRIs, certified referee instructors, CROs, certified referee observers. They're given at appropriately rated events. So if it's an E and under, don't expect better than a 9. If it's an A4, it's possible that it could be, you could earn a 6 depending, but don't have an expectation as to what you're going to earn at a specific tournament when you are reffing. Ratings come when they come. Your skills get better and you earn them. They're not given, they are earned. And then the membership types, please make sure you keep your membership up to date. If you're over 18, you keep your background check and your Safe Sport up to date. I know I just got an email that I have to do mine, so I will be doing that probably today. So just make sure that you're keeping that up to date so you don't cause an issue for tournament organizers who have a rated event. So that's all I have. I am open to questions or feedback.
Well, first, we want to thank you, Alex. I really enjoyed every single part of this session and seminar. Of course, let me again recap your resume as well. A 7-year national referee, a 2-year international referee, and a 3-year para fencing referee. And this was a great introduction for all fencers from all over the world, how and why to become referees. The tips and tricks, I call it, for every single referee to bring their best out of them. I thought you made it very clear, something that we can reference to every time we introduce a fencer or a parent that wants to become a referee. At the same time, in details how to become a referee for the US fencing world, being as Alex, a domestic referee development committee in the RC. You're putting a great material here for all the US fencing again community to become an official US fencing national referee. Thank you, Alex.
You're quite welcome.
So like she said, we're open to, well, we got a lot of chat coming through. Dylan, this was a fantastic, thank you so much for your time and information. Thank you, Dylan. And thank you, Alex. Bruce, great job, Alex. Very good, thank you. Alex says, thank you, everybody. So wonderful time and wonderful session. This is posted live on Facebook.
I apologize.
Of course.
So just for anyone who wants to ref in the United States, who doesn't live in the United States, if you want to become a referee here, I was just thinking about that. Mm-hmm. There is an international background check that we do require if you're over 18. And it's a little tricky to do, but I know I've helped people do it. So I can help if you need to do it, just reach out to me. I can help you get that done. You will need to get a US fencing membership, and you need to do the background check, but you need to do the international background check if you are living outside of the United States. So it's a daunting task only because it takes so long. Our background checks usually take 3 to 7 business days. The international one can take up to 4 weeks. So it's a bit irritating. But it's definitely, if you want to ref in the United States and you live, in your permanent residence is in another country, then, I can help you do that. I have a question. Sorry. What are your recommendations of resources or ideas to continue practicing refereeing during COVID? So, oh my gosh, what a great question.
Great question.
That's a fantastic question. So there are a few sites out there that are still posting touches, and I would say be part of those conversations.
So let me repeat the question so everybody on Facebook can hear it. What are your recommendations for resources or ideas to continue practicing refereeing during the COVID-19?
So my big thing is when I hear people say, oh, go watch the FIE videos. No, don't go watch the FIE videos. It's going to be years before you see actions like that you're refereeing. If you're a new referee, don't go watch those. What you can do though is go on US Fencing's YouTube channel, and you can see touches from like Div 3 events or Div 2 events or the cadet events, and you will see actions like that. Watch the bout. My favorite thing to do, and I'm going to be doing this later, and Maria, I'm sure Harrison will invite you to this, is we're going to be taking a bout, like a short pool bout, if I can find one, or just 5 touches of a 15-touch bout, and turning the sound off, blurring the score, and going touch by touch and saying, okay, what do you think the touch is? Let's talk through it. So there are opportunities out there. Unfortunately, in the age of COVID, you really do have to be more proactive. in finding them, but they are out there. But my first suggestion, just because you can do this on your own time, go on US Fencing's YouTube channel and look for, look for some of the veteran bouts and look for some of the Div 2, Div 3 bouts. The Div 1 bouts that have Daryl Homer and Andrew Moskiewicz, probably not your best bet. Or, Macialis and Itkin, probably not really the level you're at right now. But you can watch them to see some of the actions. But if you really want to get a feel for just reffing about and actions that you're going to consistently see as a new referee, look at the vets, look at the Div 2, Div 3 bouts, and start there and just kind of go through them.
A great tip from Alex, as well as following with Side by Side here weekly with Alex as our first instructor. And then also if attending the rule session will help you on Thursdays, because literally we're taking it one line at a time at the rule book. So we're explaining it thoroughly. So we're having to balance.
Right?
I'm sorry.
Rajani is doing that,
yes,
right?
Correct. Yes, Monsieur Fergani, and he's amazing. He's very patient. He's very generous, and I'm learning a lot. I've been in fencing for more than 30 years, but I'm learning every single session something new, and I'm proud to say this. And so we can balance between both sessions, the referee and the rules, and this would give a great kitchen to bring out the best out of the referees.
Absolutely. Maria, go and watch him do the rules. He is an amazing referee. Just absolutely an amazing referee. And the way he explains things, I have always found to be probably more patient than he should be. But you should definitely go and watch that, because if you would like, if he's explaining something and you have a question, when I do my, bi-weekly office hours that I know you've come to before, bring that question and maybe we have a touch that works in context with whatever he was explaining. Or if you email me earlier, I'll find one and we can really look at an action that goes with it. So, I mean, definitely on Thursdays, be part of that. Yeah. He's amazing.
And that's a great approach. So she can also reach out to us if she wants to ask questions prior to our sessions here every Saturday, so that you are prepared, or the instructors following will be prepared for her questions. So that's also a very good communication channel that she can utilize.
Absolutely.
Excellent. Alex, I cannot thank you enough, and I'm sure everybody enjoyed it. If anybody else have any question, please shoot at us. If not, we had an amazing session today that all the referees can reference to in the future. Thank you, Alex, for joining us, and looking forward for next week. Thank you.